SEA twice before as a SEA education intern at Great Smoky Mountains and Biscayne National Park. If you're interested in joining the SEA alumni group, we're having applications open. Message us, we'll send you some more. But thank you again for joining us today for our 5th Friday, the 3rd of the year. Today's webinar series is brought to you by the Alumni Council. We're pleased to introduce the Massachusetts Historic Preservation Crew, who will be speaking today about the importance of the field and the projects they're working on. There will be time for questions at the end, so feel free to add to the chat if something strikes you during the presentation. We'll be watching. But for now, please mute yourself and you can turn off your cameras just so that we can just focus on the presentation. So for the best viewing experience, click in the top right corner, I think this is right, and select side-by-side gallery if you're joining on a computer. And then find Madeline Kolker. Her screen has a person in black with a happy Halloween with SEA in the background. And at the top of that person square, click on the 3 blue dots button in the top corner for window to pin. So let me know if you're running into any questions or issues with that, we'll let you know. And once she's pinned, change the view to side-by-side speaker. And this is also a test to see if we're all awake this morning. So let me know if you're having any issues. And if you have any questions, again, use the chat, raise your hand. We'll keep an eye out and I'll pass this over to Kelly.
Thank you. Hey, well, if it worked for me, I have faith in everybody else to get that, find the blue dots and make it happen. But hey, y'all, I'm Kelly Burnett. I'm also a member of the Alumni Council. I served at the Mississippi National River and Recreation Area in 2015, 2016 as a Centennial Volunteer Ambassador. And I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the SEA Historic Preservation Corps. It's a unique program. They're based in Massachusetts, and they're offering participants training and experience in a lot of cool historic preservation and maintenance trades. They do carpentry, window restoration, historic trailside structure restoration, which is a mouthful, masonry, landscaping, painting, and a whole lot more. The National Parks of Boston, Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, and the SEA have partnered together to make it happen. And it is an unforgettable 10-month experience for young adults 18 to 27 in the greater Boston area. They work to address historic preservation and maintenance needs on public lands in Massachusetts. The Corps members you'll meet today will be finishing their service soon and are really excited to share with you some of what they've learned in 2021. So I would love to introduce the program manager, Nina Peppers, who's going to introduce the presentation today.
Hello, thanks everybody for coming. I'm just here to introduce the members who are doing this awesome presentation for you all. So we've got Madeline, we've got Rocco, we've got Scott, we've got Kat, and behind the camera we have Trisha, not the same Trisha that's currently on here, a different Trisha. And also just a quick note, we are currently hiring for 2022. So if you're interested, reach out. But for now, I'm gonna pass it over to Madeline, who's right here.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Madeline. My co-host Rocco should be here, but I haven't seen him. So it's a little unprofessional, in my opinion, but we're just going to keep rolling with it. I just wanted to say thank you so much for attending. And now that everyone's here, it looks like we're just waiting for Rocco. Ah! Oh my God, he's always doing that. He scared me.
Yeah, well, you know, it is Halloween, spooky spirit, so you know I had to get you.
Yeah, you did. Well, now that that's out of the way, let's begin this presentation.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah, so just a little, so this is the SEA Historic AmeriCorps program.
Yeah, I'm Rocco.
And I'm Madeline.
Yeah, and we just wanted to spend this time to really introduce who we were, what our Corps does with SEA, and you know, maybe throw in a little bit of history along the way.
Yeah, so we have a lot of partners who both fund us and provide our projects. We work with AmeriCorps, we work with the Department of Conservation and Recreation, we work with the National Park Service and the Massachusetts Service Alliance.
Yeah, and so for the last 10 months, with actually last 9 months with 1 more to go. 12 of us, including Madeline and I, have come together from all across the country with our different accumulated skills and experiences and backgrounds to come here to Braintree, Massachusetts, all in the name of historic preservation.
Yeah. And we thought that the best way to really show you guys a little slice of our program was to actually go live. We have 2 crew members currently in the field working on a project, and we thought it'd be fun to go live. So without further ado, let's check in with them now.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Madeline. We're here at the Hingham Shipyard. This is where we catch our boats whenever we need to do a project out on the islands.
And where are you guys going today?
Today we're actually heading to the beautiful George's Island.
Oh,
It is, yeah. Normally we do a lot of work on Bumpkins and Peddix Island, but today we're going to George's, which has a lot of Civil War era history. So that'll be really exciting for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, let me tell you that we are all super excited for you to go.
Yeah.
We hope you have a fun time.
Yeah.
Don't miss your boat.
Yeah, have fun.
Get out there.
Appreciate it. Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Back to you.
And so while we're waiting for them to get onto the island, we actually thought we'd spend this time digging into the history of our own historic preservation corps.
Yeah. So we began 5 years ago in 2017. Our program was started by Peter Severin and Susan Kane at the Department of Conservation and Recreation, where they really just addressed a need to fix up historic properties on public lands in Massachusetts.
Yeah. And what's guiding us throughout this whole process is our dedication and emphasis to historic integrity. That's come with us along the way the whole entire time. It was something that was seated in our knowledge and awareness back when we were being trained by the National Park Service in early March, February. So historic integrity allows us to examine the defining features of the property that we're engaging with. So it not only really teaches us something about the features and the history and how it was developed on its own, it also allows us to restore and rehab it properly and effectively while extending the life and also bringing it back to life.
Yeah, we strongly believe that preservation is a form of conservation. Something that we say around here pretty often is that the greenest building is the one that's already built.
All right, and actually with that, I'm getting word right now that they have made it onto the island. So let's go back in and check in and see what they're up to. Scott, Kat, are you able to hear us pretty well?
Yep, loud and clear. How's the island?
It's a beautiful day out here, guys. It's 65 degrees, sunny, and we were just checking out some of the history of this island.
And who do you have there with you?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, sir, how are you doing today?
She's gonna get you.
What?
The lady.
Who?
The lady in black!
What lady?
Her black drapes sweep under the arches of the fort where her love was imprisoned. You don't know this story?
Wait, wasn't this a prison for Confederate soldiers?
It was a dark and stormy night, just like this one.
It's actually a beautiful day, sir.
In fact, it was just like this one. She rode across this sound to free her lost husband. Her whistles cried out in the night looking for him, but they caught her.
As they should have.
There was a struggle, and a shot rang out.
They shot her?
She shot him, her husband. He died, and she was sentenced to death, hung on this very island. Now, she will always remain, looking, crying out for her husband.
Well, that's quite the story, Mr.
The name's Lanier, General Andrew Lanier. And she's coming for you.
That name actually sounds familiar.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
She's
Andrew.
coming for you!
And that's all the time
Why
we have,
don't you listen to me?
But we will send it back
So
to our
where's the
shop.
lady in black?
So sorry about that. That was
Oh.
not supposed to happen.
Yeah, the lady in black.
Lady in Black, have not heard of her.
That is not a story that they've ever told us about when we were visiting the islands.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take note about that and look
Yeah.
further into it.
that.
That's pretty
Yeah.
weird.
In the meanwhile, let's talk about windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just give something a little
Yeah.
bit on the windows. Windows are actually a really important aspect of the service that we provide here in the program. So we usually get windows that look like this.
Mhm. Yeah, these windows can be 50 to 100 years old. And as you can see, they really need some TLC.
Yeah. So this is the part where we would go in. We actually remove the windows ourselves from the project that we're currently working on. And this is when we bring it to our shop here in Braintree.
Mhm.
The first thing that we typically do is throw it right into our steam box. So allowing it to steam for about 20, 30 minutes really allows us to soften the glaze and the paint. We scrape all that away, bring it down to like the bare wood. And it's at that point that we really get to diagnose some of the, the needs that the window requires. And we go right into it. We start working on either Dutchman repairs, some paint or glaze repairs, new glass. And the goal is to hopefully get it to this finished product right here.
Yes. So,
So,
as you can see, we really do everything. That we really do part of the whole entire process, and eventually we'll go back to the field and reinstall these windows once they're done.
Yeah, and I can pretty much guarantee that this window probably looked just as in rough shape as the one that we held out previously.
Mhm.
And it's really nice is that we do always come in with the the right amount of experience.
Mhm.
Back in January, February, would have not been able to tell you anything about a window, but this is the work that we do.
Yeah.
And we really get to put it back in. And once we install it back into the property, it's a really, really rewarding experience because you really get to see the change and the effect it has. And it can have a property going from looking really decrepit to very eye-catching. So
Yeah, it's truly rewarding. And in the meanwhile, we're actually gonna we do a process called faux windows, and we actually have Scott and Kat who's gonna show us what that looks like.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Madeline. So yeah, when we don't quite have a window ready to install yet, what we do is install a faux window in its place.
Yeah, these faux windows are actually really important. Even though they're just pieces of plywood, they allow us to maintain the historical integrity of the building while we take the actual windows back to our workshop. It's really the little things like that that can really make... Sorry. It's the little things like that that can really make... Okay. Are you hearing that, Scott?
No, I'm not hearing anything. Oh,
Right?
all right, yeah, I heard that. They sound like some scratching or something. I don't really... Could be like a little rat or something trying to come out of this corner.
Oh my God. Are you okay? Are you guys okay?
Yeah. Jeez.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What was that?
It's gotta be that old guy we saw earlier.
Really?
He's the only one else on the island. And he's not even supposed to be out on the island. I don't know what he's doing here.
Yeah.
We gotta go get him out of there.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea.
It's dangerous in there. You guys don't have to come with me if you don't want. Come on in.
Gonna go?
First of all, you're supposed to talk more about the windows, but
Yeah, not
um,
cool.
okay.
And they also should not follow a creepy sound, but
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll just like have Nina, do you want to just maybe check in, see if they're okay? Because
Yeah.
I'm not really getting, a good feeling from this.
Yeah.
Um,
in the meantime, we can talk about a bit about the program's
Calendar,
timeline.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. So as Rocco mentioned earlier, it is a 10-month program, but that doesn't mean that we're doing the same thing for these whole 10 months. After our 8 weeks of initial training, we then are split up into groups of 4 and have 3-week rotations. So we really get to do a variety of projects.
Yeah, the rotations are always changing. And one of the great aspects and feature is that since this is a training program trying to, really heighten all of our experiences, we do have a great level of like agency and autonomy and collaboration with our partners in trying to find projects that are really going to suit our interests. and development of like those specific needs. So we have, some of our crew members who are really, really interested and very talented at like window glazing and window restoration. So they'll be working with Nina and our field coordinator, Tom, to find projects that are specifically for that. Or if you're someone like me who really likes to, dig around in all the different sort of projects, you can really sort of diversify all your different skills and trades and really make it what it is of your own. Another great aspect is independent projects, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so we actually get 2 independent project sessions, and this is a chance for the individual crew member to really get to like focus in on a skill or some area of the program that they really that they are really passionate about. So in the past, we've had people work with the USS Constitution Museum. We've had people work within the Department of Conservation and Recreation. I personally worked with a nonprofit called Boston Harbor Now. So it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah. We also even just had one of our crew members, Kat, whose article on Chinatown was published on the National Park Service. So it's really great opportunities and benefits like that that really extend beyond like the field's use of your hands. Like interp is also another big feature of our historic preservation. So it's very diverse as well.
Also, talking about Kat, I think her and Scott are going to show us another really important part of our project, which is masonry and repointing.
What was going on
I know.
first.
I think I've heard it done this way.
I don't know, Scott, this still doesn't feel right.
It's a little spooky, but the sooner we get them out of here, the sooner we can finish filming.
True, but I also feel bad that we put Trisha first.
Oh, she has a flashlight, so. Sorry, Trisha.
Yeah, sorry, Trish.
I've heard them from this room.
Really? There's nobody here.
Hello? Hey, guy.
Anything?
No. He must have left.
Guys.
Well, we know what you're doing and it's not working.
Yeah.
We want repointing.
Yeah.
Bring out the
Show us the repointing.
repointing. Repointing.
Hey.
Get it. Repointing. Let's just do it in here.
Really? You want to report in here?
Yeah, why not? He's gone, right? You're not scared, are you?
No. Yeah, let's
Alright.
report.
Let's bring the tool bag up. Alright, are we live yet? Alright, just let us know. Alright, thank you, Madeline. So yeah, as she was saying, masonry is one of the main types of projects we work on. And we do a couple different kinds. We do stone repointing out on Bumpkin Island, and we've also done a lot of brick repointing out on Pedex Island.
Yeah, masonry is actually one of my favorite things we do here because we get to contribute to these buildings that are over hundreds of years old. Like, Scott, remember when we were working on the farmhouse in Bumpkin Island?
Oh yeah, it was like from the 1700s or something like that.
Yeah, it was. And we're looking to collect a lot of old original stuff.
I'm not doing any whistling.
Yeah, I think there's someone in here.
Hello? Cat?
Scott, where are you?
Cat? I can't see a thing.
I don't know where you are. Wait, is that you behind me?
No, that's not me.
What? Who is that?
Let me pull my flashlight.
Okay, Rocco, don't worry, it'll be okay.
We're live. I have to put myself
Yeah,
together.
so yeah. Do you want
In the
to?
audience.
Yeah. Do you want to go on a shop tour? It might be distracting.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go on a
All
shop
right.
tour.
All right, come with us, guys. We're gonna go on a shop tour.
Oh, fine. Everything's good, happy thoughts. Let's follow us. So right now, this is the office, and this is where a lot of the administrative work happens. It's also where we get to take all of our breaks. We've really made it our second home. But if you come out here, I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
Oh, good.
Our shop. So this is the back part of our shop, and it is a lot of our own like maintenance and tools and stuff. So
Yes, yeah. Along this wall is all of our field tools. This is everything we would possibly need when we do any service out in the field.
yeah. We also further in the back over in that area is all of our camping tools. So another great feature of this is to really get to spend some time in the outdoors. And we've done one pretty big trip with all of us, which is really nice. But then there are also some smaller crew opportunities as well. Some of our crews have camped out in Beartown. We actually got the chance to camp out once on Paddocks Island, which is another one of the islands pretty close to where our friends are right now. And it was honestly just such a beautiful landscape to not only enjoy but also to serve
To
on.
contribute to. Yeah. All right, and we'll take you to the next part.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back to this area right in the future, but for right now, I'm gonna take you guys all the way upstairs. Upstairs is our window hub. Because we do so many projects with window, and in fact, typically we'll work at the very end of our program, we actually serve and work around like 70 to 80 windows throughout the whole 10 months. So we're being very, kept very busy with the windows, and this space, this additional space is very, useful and handy.
Yeah, this is where we really do all of our window work up here.
So over here, you can see that box right there, that's our steam box. That's where we put the windows in. That's the first step. It's also where we do a lot of the scraping. So this section is like blocked off for our like lead safety reasons and stuff like that. But we also have our glass that we cut ourselves. We do all the cutting. We do everything when it comes in terms of applying stuff.
Yeah. And then over here, if you can see, we have a couple windows that are almost done. These windows are in the final stages. They're either getting cleaned or any excess paint and is getting scraped off.
Yeah, it looks like some of them in the back are currently being glazed, which is
Yes.
really exciting. That is one of the last steps of the window restoration process. So within around 2 weeks, they would be ready for us to go back in and install them. Yeah. So we'll make our way back downstairs. This next room is sort of like the first impression for everybody. This is also where a lot of the magic happens too. It's
The magic happens everywhere.
Yeah, the magic happens everywhere, but this one happens with a lot of saws. For example, we not only do we work a lot in here, we also store all of our lumber here. We do get the lumber typically like raw, and we do the milling. So we'll plane it and we'll joint it, and then we have our miter saw over here. We have our table saw. We have the jointer right over here, a router, saw. We really have everything that we could possibly ever need, and it allows us to work on some pretty impressive projects. Right now, one of our crews are working on building like 6.5 feet tall by like 4 feet wide stable doors for FedEx Island.
Stop.
I wonder.
We have to go back and get her, man. I can't believe you left her behind.
Come this way. I think we lost her.
And also, you might notice that we took a lot of invasive species right out of here. And, it really cleans up the island, makes it better for visitors.
I can see the duck, Scott. Come on. Scott, come on, man. We're almost there.
rescue, need some help. We need the Coast Guard there immediately, pronto.
Would you want to talk about our training?
Oh yeah, our training, and it's not like our crew members are currently on a stranded island remotely from any help being chased by a ghost. But yeah, let's just talk about our wilderness first aid training.
Oh, I actually want to talk about our lead certification training.
Are you not the least bit concerned about our crew member being chased right now by a ghost?
I would be more concerned if they had the chance of lead poisoning, but with this training, they really don't.
Madeline,
Are you?
if that's you, this is not a funny joke. Clearly, I'm really close to crying right now. You gotta cut it out.
Rocco, I thought that was you.
If that's not you, and that's not me, it's the Lady in Black! Madeline?
All right, that's the show.
Yeah, we're just messing with you guys.
Yeah, it's
We all planned it. In fact, this is Kat and Madeline. We did want to just use that time to introduce you to our crew and our organization, but
Yeah.
also really get to join like you guys in on the experience of how we get to really craft this program into our own.
yeah.
So like, yeah, the Lady in Black is a lore that exists on George's
Yes.
Island, and you can find more information if you're interested in that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, we do get our hands on with a lot of different history in the program. This was a really fun opportunity and chance to throw in some incredible like
Yeah.
fiction and
Yeah.
enjoyment.
We just really felt that throughout this program, we feel really engaged with the history, and so we wanted you guys to feel that way as well. So hope it worked.
Yeah.
And and this is now a great time for a Q&A. And also we have some shout outs.
Yeah, we definitely want to, before we move forward, give some shout outs to all the people who've really been helpful in this process. First and foremost, we want to thank Trisha for allowing us to do this and host for you guys. We want to thank Nina, our supervisor, who's been providing a lot of support along the way. And then we want to shout out Scott and Kat and Trisha, who were involved. We have Sam, Sam over behind our
Technical
screen
director.
doing tech, and Tom, our field coordinator, who was General Andrew Lanier, who is actually part of the actual story. Andrew Lanier
Yeah.
is the Lady in Black's husband. So we threw in a little Easter egg for you as well.
Yeah, and in general, I just think we want to thank all of our crew members because their support throughout this is always just the best. It's fun.
As well as SCA and our other
Yes,
partners.
and our partners.
As well.
Yeah.
So I want to definitely extend this as an opportunity to ask us any questions.
Yes. Oh, and people can turn their cameras back on.
Yeah,
and-
whatever Trisha is what
Yeah.
you want to.
Y'all, that was so amazing. That was one of our best Fifth Fridays yet. It's so on topic. Can you guys hear us okay?
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. We had a couple of questions in the chat, which we can maybe start with, and then maybe hand raise if y'all would like to chime in if you're here in the meeting. Remind us which island you're working on and how we can find more information on it.
Yeah, so we actually serve on a couple of different islands. We spent most of our time on Peddix Island and Bumpkin Island, but we filmed that on George's Island, which is where that folklore arrives at.
Mhm.
I mean, you can find more information if you search the Boston Harbor Islands. But
Yeah.
the National Park Service
Yeah.
should offer a lot of information
Yeah.
about all the different islands, because there's plenty more than
Yeah.
just the ones that we visit.
Yeah, they're a really incredible site and like cultural and natural resource that we have here in such an urban environment. So it's really cool.
Amazing. I'm going to drop that link in the chat to the National Park Service website. Let's see. Megan had a couple of questions. What is the repointing goal? Are you looking to restore? Are you conserving historical buildings? What's the ultimate goal?
So it really depends on the condition that the property is in. So every different structure and property is different than the next, and some require a little bit more, maintenance and care than others. So that historic integrity that we were talking about, there's a couple of defining features, and there's different like devices that we can use. So it can be to restore, it can be to rehabilitate, it can be to replace. Typically, we don't like to replace because we want to keep everything authentic and with the materials that it was originally built with. So it's a lot of rehabilitation. For example, we worked on Bumpkin Island. There's like a stone. It's actually a really beautiful stone structure. If you want to Google the Bumpkin Island farmhouse, you'll get a couple of images. And there we were just trying to rehabilitate it and make sure that the debris and the land behind it doesn't actually push it forward. So we just wanted to extend the life of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it always depends. Good answer. What about wildlife and plants? Anything notable in the area? I don't know if y'all work on that at all, but that was a question in the chat.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. We tend not to focus much on like working within landscapes. There's been a couple times where we'll help out state and federal parks if they have some projects that, you know, are landscapes on historic properties. Then we can do like some invasive species removal. But in general, yeah, we don't tend to focus on that.
Yeah. That being said, we've had the great privilege of seeing a lot of wildlife.
Yes.
Some coyotes and deer, and things like that.
Sounds good. There's a hand up in the room. You want to ask your question?
Wait, no, here I am. Hi, sorry, I was muted. Quick question, like it seems like a really cool program. Do you think that with your exposure to the historic preservation and restoration work that you're thinking about going more that route? Or is this just a good skill builder and you're just like, what's next? What are you excited about?
So I think we all have different answers. All 12 of us would probably answer that question differently. And so it's a pretty split mix of people who were, this was aligned with their track and their future. And so we have people who are seeking jobs after this that are, again, focusing on restoration. We have people who want to continue working with windows or want to, you know, find jobs in the National Park Service. But then for others, and like I think for me, and I think I can speak for, like for you as well, we're trying to, I don't know, expand our skills and try to learn different experiences on a different level. And so I think I'd always love to find ways to informally and like unofficially help and preserve things, but it's not necessarily my track, which is great. It's great that I can take that time to just do this, learn something new, and then move forward.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Any other questions from those on the call now? We do have some questions that were logged in the registration. I'll dive into those, but I'll give a moment for anyone who wants to chime in.
I have one more question. It was about windows. Like, do you use like UV treated glass, or I'm just like thinking like when I go to Michael's to get a new picture framed, you know, they have so many different paint options. Do you look into that as well? Does that help with what you do, or do you not consider that?
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, a big part of historic preservation is trying to find in-kind materials. So a lot of times we will, you know, what we restore is what is best for the window, what's most historically accurate. So like if it comes with glass, we'll try to reuse that glass as best we can. Obviously we don't use lead paint anymore, but paint of the same color. So yes, yeah.
Yeah, and that is like a combination of some of the, again, like the defining features that we have to identify, but we also receive a lot of support from our partners as well. So there's a lot of people behind the scenes too, who are, you know, figuring out the codes of certain colors and ordering the material that we need for us. And yeah, in ways that we can try to match that level of authenticity.
All right, I'm going to ask the first couple questions we have that were submitted before. What opportunities do you see for young people in historic preservation?
Yeah, so many. It's a really long list. There's things like historic New England, for example, where they, will go to certain properties and, either purchase them or, work and rehab them and stuff like that. We have a lot of people who want to take their experience and go into specifically carpentry or the window industry, specifically historic windows. Or we have members who want to focus more on the historical interp of properties, so finding jobs in museums or at different like organizations further advance the preservation world. National Park Service is a big attraction to a lot of people who are working, but it's also some of the smaller details or smaller subtleties of opportunities is just being an advocate, which is, I think, is in line what I'll be pursuing more so, is finding ways to really highlight that interp of what it is that people are doing, and to try to further promote that we, like Madeline said, like it being the greenest building is one that's already built, is finding ways that we can focus on purifying and like bringing back to life some stuff. And so if there's any way that we can help with that, even if we're not directly involved, I think that's something that we're all interested in doing.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite memory through your service, or your favorite project?
There's been a lot of good memories. I would have to say, we mentioned this, but the opportunity to camp on Peddix Island, and really anytime we get to explore the islands is special. Peddix Island in particular this past summer was closed to campers, but we were allowed to camp in the yurts, so it was like almost kind of glamping, but not really. But so we were working during the day and repointing and really getting a unique perspective of the islands. But then at night, like I consider us extremely lucky. We got to stay the night there, and we were like, I've never felt like the only person on an island before, and that is a very cool feeling.
We also were there while it was raining a lot, so that sounds like it'd be something that would make it a negative experience, but the way that the lighting came in, and it just was such a beautiful scenery. And then also when we were actually doing our service, and that was repointing, we were right by the water. It's a very beautiful environment to be working in.
Who knew that? I never thought that I'd say like, oh, I'm going to be moving to Boston and working on an island. I never thought that that would be said.
And then somebody also asked, what was the most challenging part of being on the Historic Preservation Corps?
I think underestimating our abilities can really get, in your own head, and sometimes feel like intimidated by the project and how much work it seems to require. But with that token, it hasn't ever really deterred us or stopped us. And that's also due to like the support that we get from our higher ups and our field coordinators, and we also have an amazing group of people who've dedicated their time to coming and teaching us. So professionals in masonry will really come and mentor us, and having these trainings and these mentors really gives us the confidence and the application and the tools that we would need. So I think that is like the biggest challenge, is looking at something for the first time and being like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, I've never done this before. And then sort of how that transforming into a whole learning experience, and the project comes out typically really, really good.
Yes.
Okay, we'll just ask a couple more. This Trisha asked if you have a favorite tool. Which is
funny you say that.
Oh yeah, so okay, so when we first came, I didn't really have much experience with shop tools or anything like that. Some of us did, some of us didn't. So one of our first sort of assignments when we were doing like a lot of icebreakers and things like that was to break out into the shop and stay next to a shop tool that you feel confident that you can identify and describe. And I panicked because I really had no idea, and somebody already went to a table saw. And so I walked over to the pencil sharpener, and my chin out high, described that pencil sharpener, really blew it, out of the park. And
And I'd say it's still his favorite tool.
Yeah,
he
it
uses
still
that
is my
often,
favorite
so.
a lot of our crew members have quickly identified tools that they don't like,
Yes.
which I think is also super important, is learning
Yeah.
what, you can't actually like, you have to figure out a little bit more, and you have to spend some more time with. We do actually form like relationships with these tools. And it's like, okay, like, this planer is really not working, like the teeth are getting caught on, this lumber, and you start to like resent the machine. But then you learn how to change the teeth, and you learn how to operate the machine better than you would have if it didn't, malfunction on you.
Yeah.
So
Deal with him.
yeah, how to deal with the impatience and emotions of things sometimes going wrong.
And I know we want to wrap up, but I can't not ask these questions about any real ghost stories while working on the job. And if you had to pick a tool, which one would be most useful if you were ghost hunting? And that'll be our last question.
I'm reminded of it when we were camping on Peddix Island. There was a couple nights, and especially for me, I had never heard, what was it, coyotes?
It was coyotes.
Yeah, I'd never heard coyotes before, and that was terrifying.
Yeah. I was actually telling my own scary story.
Oh
and
yeah, which is just bad timing.
Yeah, at night, we started to hear the coyotes laughing around the woods behind us.
Yeah.
And it was like they just kept on coming from different corners, and they can change their tone. So it really sounded like there was an evil laughter coming in from the woods. And we went to bed immediately. Like I was portraying myself with how afraid I looked, because that was really terrifying. But yeah, the Lady in Black story is a really good one. There's some other stories as well. In fact, the Lady in Black, there's more to the lore, is that you have to challenge the Lady in Black before you approach the water. And the boat crew who take us out, that are part of DCR, they actually have a boat called the Lady in Black in dedication to the lore. So the culture is really heavy there.
Yes.
I love that. Well, thank you guys for spending time with us and for answering all the questions. I'm going to pass it to Trisha. I know she has some words of thanks as well, and she'll wrap us up.
Thank you all so much. Thanks, Kelly. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Patricia Malizia. I'm the Senior Director of Alumni and Constituent Engagement here at SCA. I manage the Alumni Council and develop programs for our alumni and others to learn about SCA and to connect and engage with SCA. So I hope that you enjoyed today's event. I know that I did. I've been working with the Corps throughout and have just been so impressed with this project, with this video presentation, everything. And actually in the background, Gina, Rocco's mom, chatted with me. So she got on Zoom and she was even able to chat with me and said how impressed she was with this presentation and how proud she is. And I just had to say it out loud because I feel exactly the same way. So thank you so much to Nina and Madeline and Rocco and all the people that are in the background, the tech folks, the videographers, the people in the field. So thank you to everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope that you found this valuable and fun. We'll be sending out the recording sometime next week. In the meantime, if you have any questions that haven't been answered in this setting, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll drop my email into the chat. It's just alumni@thesca.org. Easy to remember. Kelly, actually, if you could drop that in, that would be great. If you have any suggestions for a topic for our next Fifth Friday, we're always looking for topic ideas. We've done everything from career development, wildlife conservation around wild tigers. We've done this. We just try to mix it up so we get a really good array of different things that we have to offer. So if you have ideas, let me know. And I just wanted to say thanks again. and have a very great spooky weekend, everyone. And, keep the lady in black in the back of your minds, because you never know when she might pop out and scare you. So thank you again to the Alumni Council. I saw someone just dropped in about the Alumni Council. There's information about that. I dropped in if you were interested in applying to the Mass Historic Preservation Corps, because Nina did mention they are hiring. So that's in the chat. And if you need anything else at all, just email me at alumni@thesca. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.